Good morning. We're doing it live. We're doing it live. And so today's topic is how Alex Jones is spinning the SPLC revelations to claim that it's Nazism or something. So one of the things that Alex has had to contend with for the last, I don't know, 20 years is people claiming that he is a shill for Jews and Israel and the Mossad. Now, why would anyone think that? I mean, it's only that he has Laura Loomer on his show, and that he takes orders from Laura Loomer. I mean, remember when Alex Jones was attacking Candace Owens for exposing who killed Charlie Kirk or asking questions about who killed Charlie Kirk, and then he starts attacking Candace Owens, and then Laura Loomer's like, "I'm the one who got with Alex and told him to do that." And then he repeats all that. He's constantly repeating Mossad propaganda. He's got Ezra Levant on his show, and he's got all these genocidal maniacs that are connected to Judaism and Zionism, or and people that are not Jewish but are Zionists. Like, just the list is endless. It's like, so why would we think he's connected to the Jews and the Mossad and Israel? Well, because he's constantly promoting that. He's constantly making excuses for it. And he claims to be a Christian, but then he claims that there's this thing called Israel, that there's this state called Israel, and that it's not going anywhere because they've got nuclear weapons, and I don't want to see them go anywhere. Okay, Alex. See, this is why people say this about you. So just to start off the point here, if you're a Christian and you call Jews Israel, you call the rabbis who tortured and murdered Jesus Christ and John the Baptist, you call them Israel, then you're delusional. You're delusional. You're delusional. You're a complete moron. You're an idiot. And so no Christian who can read the Bible and understand the meaning of the Bible and understand the meaning of Jesus Christ would ever call a murderous, a genocidal rabbi. We would never call them Israel. Okay. So, but let's listen to a little Alex Jones here about his spin on the SPLC revelations and how this proves that all the Nazis, they really work for a Barack Obama, because that's what he's trying to claim, I guess.
And if you go back, we'll put on screen to Obama's counterterrorism national security directive of June of 2021. The first big thing he did within days being in, he said, our main threat is white supremacists. They're everywhere. They're going to kill us. Charlottesville. And a few months later, they put out that national security directive memorandum. Let's put it on screen. I know we had it before the show started.
Okay. So just so you know, I was part of that group. I didn't go to Charlottesville, but I was like inside the group that was going to Charlottesville. And I'm like, I'm not going because that's a dumb idea, because I'm not an idiot, right? But a lot of guys that I was talking to at the time did go. They literally drove out there and they got in fights and then they came home. So I thought that was a stupid idea. But not so. And you got to understand something is that Nick Fuentes came out of this group, the Daily Stormer group. Lucas Gage came out of this group. Is Alex saying that Nick Fuentes is run by the SPLC and Lucas Gage is run by the SPLC and that I am run by the SPLC? It's so stupid. No. See, the whole point is, yes, white supremacy is the number one threat to the Jewish Jesuit Talmudic syndicate that runs the Roman Talmudic syndicate that runs U.S. The number one threat is white supremacy. And so that is the threat. It is the threat. And that's why the SPLC was running groups to discredit it. Alex, you moron. You're so stupid.
You can read the 30-page report. There it is, National Strategy Countering Domestic Terrorism. It defines white supremacy as the number one terror threat, and it's the number one crime in America. Totally.
Of course it is, because of course it would be. When you look at who controls the U.S. government, it's a Talmudo Jesuit. It's a Roman Talmudo. It's a Jewish Roman Talmudo Jesuit syndicate. So who would be the number one threat to that? It would be white people. See, that would be the number one threat. White people, Christianity, National Socialism, that would be the number one threat. There is no other threat. There is no other threat. That's why the FBI backs Antifa. That's why they killed Charlie Kirk. Oh, by the way, Alex Jones is all deep in with those people that killed Charlie Kirk. He just had Savannah Hernandez, who works for TPUSA, on his show. So literally the people that shot Charlie Kirk and blew his neck out and exploded his artery, his artery. Well, Savannah Hernandez is on the show, and they're all bullshitting you. Alex Jones is a bullshit artist.
True, it's super rare, and all of it basically controlled by them.
And that other guy, who's that other guy? Who's the guy that interviewed Savannah Hernandez? The dude on the Alex Jones show, right? That's what I'm saying. They're in with TPUSA, and they're in with JD Vance, and they're in with Tucker Carlson, and they're going to say, "See, I told you, the Nazis and the white supremacists, they all work for Obama and Biden." No, that's not what the report says, you moron. The report says that Obama and Biden could see that the white people were the number one threat to the Judeo-Roman Talmudo-Jesuit syndicate that runs Washington, D.C., and runs the global empire into the European Union and into Australia and Canada. And that this is the threat, is white supremacy, white nationalism, white people. This has always been the threat. This is why Theodor Kaufman wrote a book called Germany Must Perish, where he said they had to sterilize every living German on the earth. You see? And yes, so then they infiltrated or created white nationalist groups to cause trouble, to discredit it, Alex. You moron. Alex is such an idiot.
Documents and indictments that they were ordering crimes to be committed. And the Democratic Party, new documents have come out, the DOJ has them, of course, because they used to run it, that the Biden DOJ and others were coordinating with the Southern Poverty Law Center just during that administration to run the white supremacy groups and commit crimes.
You mean some white supremacy groups? See, they would Alex is trying to say that all these people that have been saying that he's a shill for all these years for claiming that it's German death cults behind it, and that all the people attacking me are Nazis, and they're all run by the SPLC. No, dummy, that's not what's happening. No, people are attacking you because you've been a shill the entire time for the Epstein group that's run by Les Wexner and Jeffrey Epstein and the State of Israel. You've been a shill the whole time. You said it was the German death cults when really it was this Epstein group. So you lied the whole time. You say it's the Anglo-American Empire. Well, there is no Anglo-American Empire. You have the Rothschild family, and in the 1800s, they came to power with the help of the Romans to establish a new order in Washington, D.C. and in London. And so everything else has been killed off since then. So you're just constantly lying, Alex. You're constantly with your 1776, which was a Jesuit guided revolt. Yes, they used Freemasons. They used the Enlightenment people. And I'm an Enlightenment person. See, I support the Enlightenment. The Enlightenment died on 1776. The Enlightenment died on 1776. Benjamin Franklin worked with the Romans to establish that school called Georgetown University right after the foundation of the Washington, or no, actually before the foundation of Washington, D.C. See, before they put Washington, D.C. there, they put a Jesuit school there. So Alex Jones is trying to claim that all the Nazis are really run by Obama. No. See, they said that these white people are the problem. And so now they have to infiltrate it and subvert it and run these groups to discredit everything and to frighten everybody. And the eventual goal has always been the Kalergi plan, to get rid of the white populations. But Alex doesn't say that explicitly. He's like beating around the bush and meandering through all this garbage. Anyway, let's listen.
Know that this investigation was opened during the Biden administration and then mysteriously closed.
And they run all the major white supremacist groups in the indictment. They funded them to commit
all the major ones, like the one that like the Daily Stormer, like where Nick Fuentes came out of. Shut up, Alex. They don't run everything. They ran some of them, but they weren't the major ones. Look, I got kicked off of Stormfront like 20 years ago for talking about 9/11. So I've always known about, like, everybody already knows about this. Like, it's not a secret that this is like, oh my God, these big revolutions. No, people have known about this the whole time. That's the whole point. If you're white, you can't organize because they infiltrate and they discredit and they do all this crazy shit. The FBI comes in and then they work with the SPLC and they try to get you to commit crimes. That's why white Americans can't organize. That's why you either have to vote for some pedophile ring Republican or some weird blue-haired schizophrenic transsexual Democrat. Those are your choices, and it's going to stay that way. See, it's going to stay that way because this whole thing with the SPLC isn't going to change anything. All it says is that they were trying to suppress white people from organizing politically. That's all it says, Alex. And so the people that have been saying that Alex Jones has been a shill the whole time, well, he's got Laura Loomer on his show.
Crimes, burning crosses in black people's neighborhoods, terrorizing black people. And it gets even worse. These people are sick, Jesse Smollett to the 10th degree. They're staging false flags to turn us against each other.
Just a few months ago, Jamie Raskin singing their praises.
The Southern Poverty Law Center has been a vigilant voice in civil society against radical white nationalist violence and extremism, neo-Nazism, and other forces.
Right, because what happens is the Jamie Raskin group and the SPLC have been infiltrating and trying to subvert white people from organizing. See, that's the point. Alex Jones wants to say, see, I'm for everybody, and I'm for the interracial democracy, and I'm for interracial liberal democracy and capitalism. Okay. And so, where's all these Republicans that are all excited about this right now? Where have they been for the last 20 years? If you think that charging the SPLC with fraud or something is going to stop any of this, you're an idiot. It's not going to do anything because all the people behind it are still there. Donald Trump just bombed Iran for them. The First Lady, Melania Trump, now says that we're going to put Sam Altman's OpenAI and Meta's Facebook and all these and Palantir. That's all going into schools now. They're going to run all from kindergarten till all your little kids are going to be run by Sam Altman and Mark Zuckerberg and Peter Thiel, the weird druggy pervert. So what's this doing, Alex? It's doing nothing. You are a shill if you're buying into this. I don't know. Anyway, let's listen to some more.
To the Ku Klux Klan. Okay?
See the way they're going to spin this is like, see, we told you. Anyone that's for white supremacy is run by Obama. Anyone that believes that Hitler was good is run by Joe Biden, Obama, and Nancy Pelosi. No, that's not what this means, you idiot. It means they're trying to subvert it. See, the whole idea, as long as I've been paying attention to any of this, they want people who they want to put the most violent, weird, schizophrenic weirdos as the leaders of everything. So if you're a white person, you want to organize for your own race because you don't want to die. Like you want to live like a normal European person has lived for thousands and thousands of years like your ancestors did. So what they do is they find some guy who's a total whack job and they try to claim that he's your leader. See, when you go on the ADL website, it's got all these it's got all these Nazis, right? They've got like tattoos and face tattoos, and they look all dangerous and scary, right? This has been their program the whole time. But Alex is saying, see, those are my enemies. Those are the people calling me a shill. No. Let's listen to some more of this idiot.
It's over $1 million. I mean, it's incredible that the money that.
I'm going to skip ahead.
The Second Amendment with it. Well, it came out from the witnesses and documents and hearings and trials and all of it. And federal whistleblowers, FBI whistleblowers, it was just insane. And police officers that were there and just all of it, that the feds blew up Oklahoma City.
That's true.
The names of the guys that planted the bombs, people saw them doing it. What are you doing? Oh, we're with the telephone repair company.
Right. But so then what has Alex been saying since that time? He's been saying, it's the German death cults. And who has everybody else been saying? We've been saying it's the Anti-Defamation League. It's the Jewish mafia. That's what I've been saying since that whole time. The whole time Alex has been saying, it's the German death cults. The German death cults are behind it. And now he's going, see, I told you the SPLC runs the German death cults. What an asshole. What a scumbag. What a spin job. What a spin job. He'll probably interview Laura Loomer next and ask her what she thinks about the German death cults. Such an idiot.
You don't like telephone repair guys? I mean, I've interviewed all these people. Mm-hmm. And then when cops investigated, senior police officers, they come and threaten to kill them. Mm-hmm. They've named names of the FBI agents that came in his office. Yeah. Browning, the K9.
And all the FBI work for the ADL, which is B'nai B'rith, a Jewish Masonic order, which left the original Masonic order because it was too Christian. They had to form a Jewish one. in 1843. That is the deep state. That is the group. It's not German death cults like Alex has been saying since I went to the Bohemian Grove. Bohemian Grove is, it's a bunch of homosexuals basically out in the woods. That's where Alex Jones goes. And he says, "Oh, they're worshiping an owl. See, it's all this other." No, dude, it's the Jewish mafia. See, that's what we've been saying the whole time. That's what the Germans were saying. That's what Adolf Hitler, Alex Jones's biggest enemy. Alex Jones hates Hitler for some reason, but he loves Laura Loomer, and he says that Zionism is good, and he's supposedly a Christian. You can't be a Christian and believe that the rabbis that murdered Jesus Christ are Israel. You can't. That doesn't make any sense. How could the rabbis that reject and hate and murdered, tortured to death God, the word of God called Jesus Christ, how could they be Israel? That doesn't make sense, Alex. Anyway, let's listen to some more of this, Alex.
And he said, "We're going to kill you and your wife if you don't shut your mouth." This guy's a Marine and stuff. He got out and said, "Well, you better watch it." But I mean, they already killed Terrence Yeagy, who was the first cop to show up on the scene.
Yeah.
I've interviewed his family, all of it. So
okay. I know.
To death out in the field. So,
but then you lie about everything.
The SPLC at Allegheny City ran all this and did this. So
true.
I see people attacking them saying, "Oh, they're blue-haired, purple-haired, green-haired liberals that said, 'Oh, let's go out and create racism so we get donations.'"
No, they're it's the Jewish mafia. It's the Jewish mafia. See, this is the big part Alex Jones wants to pretend like he doesn't understand.
That's not right. Okay, that's limited hangout.
Mm-hmm.
It is an international globalist terror organization.
Yeah.
With MI6, German intelligence.
Oh, German intelligence. German intelligence. Okay, and who runs German intelligence since the end of World War II, Alex? By German intelligence. See, it's the German intelligence group. Okay, well, Germany's been under a military occupation since 1945, right? So Germany's been under a military occupation since 1945, where they've pushed what? What have they pushed in Germany? What have they pushed on the Germans since 1945? They pushed Holocaust brainwashing. They've pushed you need a race mix because you're evil and you have to die. They've pushed homosexuality. They've pushed pornography. They've pushed prostitution. They've pushed drugs. They've pushed more race mixing. See, it's just this. See, the whole impetus towards German intelligence running it. Okay, Alex, you're such a dumbass. Such an idiot.
Is the command center with NATO funding them, and they have not $1 billion.
There's no NATO, there's no German intelligence, there's no everything goes back to one group, and that's Washington, D.C. Alex Jones did an interview with Bill Cooper a long time ago when they were on good terms. And it was a great interview, probably one of the best interviews I think I've ever heard of Bill Cooper and Alex Jones. And Alex Jones is asking him, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Who do you think's behind this? Who do you think is behind that? Now, Bill Cooper thought everything was the Freemasons. And I have more information than he does because I've read volume 1, chapter 31 of the Mackey's History of Freemasonry. It's called Jesuits in Freemasonry. So they did use Freemasons. But so Alex is going, what do you think about this? Is it the UN? Is it the World Economic Forum? Is it this? Is it the Rockefeller? And Bill Cooper says, no. He says, no, it's Washington, D.C. It's the District of Columbia. They're the ones behind it all. And when I first heard that, I went, wow, that's a strange thing to think. Because you always want to think, as an American, you want to think, see, we're the Americans and we found, and our people, we founded D.C. And it's true that we did. And I believe in the Enlightenment, and I like Thomas Jefferson. I like my right to free speech and my right to own a firearm. I will never give that stuff up. Like, what you have to understand is, just like we've done to all these other countries around the world, where this power comes in and overthrows the existing power and uses some group to do that, and then sets up a government. Well, that government they set up was Washington, D.C., and it was for this other group. See, so our guys, the Enlightenment age guys, the white Protestant English and French and Dutch guys, our guys, they set up a government for this other group, unfortunately. And that's why everything has gone to shit. And everything that's happening now with the AI and the Palantir and the Sam Altman and the OpenAI and putting all this weird shit, like literally it's going to be, Melania Trump just said this the other day, that they're going to have Meta, Facebook. They're going to have Facebook and Sam Altman running the schools with artificial intelligence. This has always been the plan. This has always been the plan since the founding of Washington, D.C. This has been the plan. And the Freemasons screwed up. They got scammed. They got tricked into building this thing. Well, the first thing that Benjamin Franklin did after they won the Revolutionary War was work with Bishop Carroll to establish the Georgetown University, the Jesuit school. See, this used to be this used to be an English colony, and it was the Church of England. Okay, it was the Church of England. We had a king, the King of England, and the Church of England. And notice how the Church of England, it ruled all these territories that used to belong to the Catholic Church. Okay, well, the Church of England doesn't rule anything now. They can't even rule their own island, right? You go to England and it's literally been invaded by Muslims. Who do you think did that? Well, the Pope's for it. The Popes, who opened up the borders in America? The Popes for that. The Jewish mafia is for that. See, this is why Alex is so full of shit with this German death cult stuff. But let's continue.
But billions of dollars. They're one of the most powerful NGOs out there, okay? And so it's under congressional approval. The CIA is involved, but hands off, officially. But through Georgetown, that's a major CIA command center, they are directly connected.
Yeah, Georgetown University, Alex. And that's a school that was founded by the U.S. government. That was the first school they chartered. It was called Georgetown University. And it was Benjamin Franklin, the Freemason, Benjamin Franklin, who with the Jesuit Bishop Carroll and the Pope founded a Jesuit school during the time that the Jesuits were officially, according to the official documents of the Roman Catholic Church, this is the time where the Jesuits were officially dissolved. Yet, they just established a school, and now they're establishing a government. You see, they're establishing a government in Washington, District of Columbia. See, that's what happened. Alex doesn't understand
this. Yesterday, I saw articles by and neocons always lying, going, I bet we find Alex Jones is funded by the SPLC. Yeah, right. They attacked me. You notice I'm not in there, of course.
I never thought he was funded by him. But look who he's associated with. Ezra Levant. Did you see this video? You've got Ezra Levant going over to Ireland and harassing these Irish guys who are, they're Catholics, right? I'm not against Catholics. People think I hate Catholics because I don't know if people think I hate Catholics, but because I talk about the Pope and this whole commercial system. But people that just like practice Orthodox Roman Catholic, like the Christian, that doesn't bother me. I like that. I like that. So you got these Irish guys. They're Catholic group. They're a National Socialist group, and they're up there in Ireland. And Ezra Levant is up there, going, "You're trying to discredit the movement." What movement, bro? You're Jewish. You're from Canada. You're Jewish. What movement are you talking about? The movement against mass illegal immigration. Well, who said I'm for? Like, see, you're not part of. You're discrediting our movement against illegal immigration. I'm for National Socialism. That's what I'm for. So what movement? We're not in a movement together. Okay. If you're Ezra Levant, why are you in Ireland harassing people in Ireland? So that's who Alex Jones has on his show. He's got Laura Loomer, right? Candace Owens is trying to figure out who killed Charlie Kirk. And then Laura Loomer calls Alex Jones, and she tweets this on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. And then Alex Jones is like, Candace Owens she's a demon and she's a liar and she's a demon. And she's like, what are you talking about? So what I'm saying is, why do people think Alex Jones is a shill? Because of his own behavior, because of the things he does, not because we're paid by Barack Obama. That's so stupid. And
I'm in the Epstein files being attacked by Epstein for exposing pedophilia.
Well, that's good.
We're the real deal over and over and over again. But the people they're funding The Nazis, you notice, have always said, I work for Israel.
Where's my money? 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 George Soros, send me a check. I haven't gotten it yet.
And that I can't be trusted and I'm controlled.
You are.
When in truth, Israel's heavily involved in the founding and control of the SPLC.
Okay.
It's basically just another arm of the ADL posing as good old.
Notice how he tries to be on all sides of everything, but he's not against Israel. And he even calls the rabbis Israel. He says that they are Israel. See, anyone who says that, anyone who claims to be a Christian, and if you say that the rabbis are Israel, you are delusional. You're not insane. You're illiterate and you're delusional and you're ignorant. Okay? The rabbis cannot be Israel. The only people that can be Israel are the followers of God's word, called Jesus Christ. That's the only one who potentially could ever be Israel. Going back to the beginning of the story in the Bible, where they followed the manna, or Abraham heard the word and Noah heard the word. No one else can be Israel.
Boys from Alabama. You can look that up. So now, you know, while the Nazi groups constantly claim I'm an agent and I'm a Fed, because I'm not.
Well, then why do you have Laura Loomer on your show? Why do you have Laura Loomer on your show? Why do you have Michael Savage on your show, who's a genocidal maniac? Because I just like to be on all sides of everything. Okay. Why do you constantly lie about Adolf Hitler? Why do you constantly say the Germans did this and the Germans did that and the Germans are behind it all? Why'd you say that for the last 20 years, Alex?
They are. You can go down that whole list.
See, it's your own behavior.
All attacking me forever.
He's almost like, you know, these people that say, you hate me because I'm Jewish. Well, no, it's because of your behavior. Alex, it's because of your behavior. It's because of the things that you do. That's why people think you're a shill.
That's why I'm Jewish and I work for Israel and I go pray at the wall and all this ridiculous crap. Mm-hmm. Because they're told to do that.
Really? Did Laura Loomer tell me to do that? Did Laura Loomer tell you to attack Candace Owens? That's all you got to know. Did Laura Loomer, because she said, and Alex never responded to it. Laura Loomer says that she talked to Alex about Candace. And then Alex goes on this thing as if Alex Jones is being blackmailed by stuff on his phone or something. And he goes on this thing about how Candace is the devil and Candace is evil and she works for the Democrats. Like he went on this rant for like several days. And if you ever ask him about Charlie Kirk, he starts talking about hammers. He just goes on and on about hammers and how he doesn't believe in this and that. He's a bullshit artist.
Because I'm promoting populism and liberty for everybody.
For everyone. Okay, so that's the whole point. See, what do you call it? It's all universal. So interracial democracy. Okay, Alex, listen. I'm not for interracial democracy. I like all the other races. I'd like to visit more countries. I would love to go to Japan. Not as my first pick, because I'd like to go to Hawaii and do some body surfing and do some surfing and do some snorkeling. I went to Tijuana a couple times as a kid. It was kind of scary but fun. I'd love to go to Japan and have some like really good Japanese food, and I'd like to maybe even go down to like that Vietnam area down there and like do some surfing down there because the water's warm. But I'm a national socialist. Or a natural socialist. I just believe in the natural, like races shouldn't be forced to race mix. And when I watch like all these commercials and stuff, and it's all about forcing race mixing, like natural race, I think on some level people will race mix, and that's not always bad, you know. But like, as on the macro, like you've got macro and micro. On the macro, you want to have racial hegemony, and on the micro, you could have some people that race mix, and it's not even a big deal. Because on the macro, your race is going to survive if you don't. If most people don't do that, then your race survives. If most people don't race mix, your race survives. If everybody race mixes, your race doesn't survive. So it's actually, when you're trying to force everyone to do it, it's actually a form of ethnic cleansing or genocide against particularly the white race. Because that's the whole thing. if you go back to the beginning, what Alex Jones was saying here with SPLC and the White House, which is the U.S. government saying that the white nationalism is the #1 threat. Well, of course it is to the people in charge, to the Facebook, Meta, AI, Palantir, OpenAI, Sam Altman group, which is run by the Epstein group. The #1 threat to their power are white nationalists, white supremacists, national socialists, people who love Adolf Hitler are the #1 threat, because those are the people that would never submit to it. Those are the people that would never go along with it. The Muslims will, because they'll be like, well, yeah, there's different races and I'm not the thing. And for some reason, they'll blend in. Of course, the Iranians aren't. So kudos to the Iranians. But all these other races, but the Iranians and these other races, they do push the whole race mixing thing in general. I just don't support. I don't support it on the macro. On the micro, it's not a big deal, but on the macro, it is a big deal. It means the total destruction of the white races of Europe. On the micro, it's probably a good thing. It's probably a good thing on the micro. On a small scale, it's probably a good thing. But let's continue.
But I'm also stand up for your white heritage. Don't let them bully you, control you, stop replacement migration. Be proud of your background for everybody. They don't want a big tent. They want divisiveness and division.
Who's they?
They don't, because what I'm saying is the truth and people want it. And that's
who is they? See, what you want to do is you want to keep this thing going and allow them in it. What I'm saying is we don't have, like, look, let's go back to the founding of the colonies, right? It was English and Dutch and French. And then when the English and the Dutch, because they were Protestant too, when they came to power, the Roman Catholic Church lost control of the colonies, or lost control of North America, a good portion of it. They still controlled Central America, Mexico, South America, that was still controlled by the Pope. But it's such a big story, because you got to understand what happened during the period of time of the American Revolt in 1773 to 1776, to the founding of DC in 1789-90 area time. What happened in between, what was going on during that time was called the Jesuit Wars, which started before that and ended after that. And within that period of time of the Jesuit Wars, you had the founding of Washington, D.C., right in the middle of that. And who were the forces? It was the sugar business people, who was run by the Jewish mafia with the Jesuits, who wanted to and had the economic power to take back the colonies from the King of England. So what I'm saying is, as an example, if you're the King of England and you're British and you have this thing called the Church of England, see how exclusive that is? See, now it's for British people who have a certain religion, right? And so it excludes Jews and it excludes Catholics. And this is what was in the colonies. And ultimately, this is how you have to live if you want to survive. You have to choose your race and your religion and then exclude the others, or you'll lose that territory. The British lost that territory. Now who runs it? A mix of all these different races, right, that are all under this AI system that's being brought into being of Jewish mafia and Romans. The Pope is 100% into this, 100%. One of the biggest investors of this are agents of the Roman Catholic Church. Let's listen to more Alex Jones.
It's in all their own documents that have been declassified. The Ford Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation, this guy is creating a populist movement that we've tracked and we believe will end up causing a takeover of the Republican Party. They said that like 15 years ago in a big report in Newsweek, interviewing the SPLC and a bunch of others and Mother Jones. And I don't
deny that. I don't deny the fact that these groups don't like Alex Jones. I believe that. So that's not my criticism of Alex Jones in this video. My critique is that Alex Jones is using this to spin this thing that all these National Socialists, or the people that admire Adolf Hitler, or people that believe in National Socialism, that we're all run by Barack Obama, which is so stupid. And that the whole point is that the people who admire Adolf Hitler and want to live as National Socialists, or even, let's say, you take like the King of England and before the revolt, right? It was British and they had a religion. You see, that's the threat. See, white people with a religion. See, that was the English people that lived in the colonies. Like it was English people, and they're under this king, and they have a religion, and so it excludes the Jews and the Catholics. See, this is the threat. This has always been the threat since the beginning. And so I'm not against the Enlightenment. I'm an Enlightenment guy, because if the whole premise of the Enlightenment is that there's this thing called the light. The light, the thing I talk about all the time, the light, the logos, the light, the word, the light. See, they got that idea from reading the New Testament and also the Old Testament, because it's in there too. It's just written differently, but it's in there. It's all in there. The word of God is light, Genesis 1:3. The word of God said, let there be light, Genesis 1:3. So it's all in there. But that's where they got the idea of quote unquote enlightenment, and that Christ is the enlightenment. So when you have enlightenment, you have Christ. So I'm not against the Enlightenment. But what I'm saying is this group of criminals used our guys, Washington, Jefferson, all these other guys, right, in the colonies, to overthrow their own people and their own race and religion for this foreign thing called the Roman Jesuits Talmudic Syndicate. And that's what happened. That's why all the 1776 stuff is bullshit. That's why all the patriotard stuff is bullshit. Because it gets, and I have patriotic feelings. You have to understand, it gets you to continue this group. You don't end up continuing your own people. It's a way, and it hurts. I know. If you're listening to this, you probably think, "Ow, that's rough." I know it's rough, but you have to face what happened. Why we're in this situation. It's because all of our patriotism is redirected into supporting this group of criminals. They keep using our patriotism and redirecting it to support this thing that's designed to exterminate us. They want to put Sam Altman in your school. They want to put Mark Zuckerberg in your child's school. And all the schools in America are going to be run by Mark Zuckerberg and Sam Altman and Peter Thiel, a group of Jewish and homosexual perverts. See, that's been the plan the whole time. That's what I'm saying.
And that Obama was concerned. I later learned he put me under a terrorism watch list and did a national security investigation.
Okay, that's enough. Hope you enjoyed this video. Take care.